So, flip phones are the hottest thing in tech this year, apparently.
Welcome to 2020 by way of 2004.
Stick around for your daily charge. Good morning and welcome to the Daily Charge. It's Wednesday, February 12th. I'm Joni Salzman.
I'm Eli Blumenthal.
And here's a recap of everything we saw at Unpacked. So the last time phones had this much hype, flip phones had this much hype, Facebook.com was a little tiny site for Ivy League students, and Google had just gone public as a $23 billion company. That is so cute. It's worth $1 trillion now. Anyway, yesterday, Samsung officially unveiled its Galaxy Z Flip phone, which bears a very close resemblance to the Motorola Razr that went on sale just last week. Eli, how does the new Z Flip stack up against the Razr and other folding phones so far?
Yeah, we talk about technology moving really fast all the time. I mean, the Razr just went on sale last week, and it already has gotten eclipsed by something that is faster, it is cheaper, and by all accounts looks a lot better.
It looks pretty snazzy.
Compared to the Razr, and we've been using the Razr for the last week. We have one here, and yeah, it's got a glass screen on the Z Flip, something the Razr's plastic. That's something that's been getting dinged about a lot, including in our review on CNET.com. It's got a better processor, it's got wireless charging, it's got better cameras, and it's at just under $1,400. It's $100 cheaper.
Right.
And will be available beyond just on one carrier. AT&T and Sprint are selling it. It's also available on lock, so you can use it on Verizon and on T-Mobile, whereas the Razr, if you're using it, you have to have Verizon.
Right.
So it checks nearly all the boxes.
Are there any boxes it doesn't check?
No 5G.
That's the thing.
And
so future-proofing, when you're buying a $1,400 phone, you kind of want to future-proof it.
Yeah, but it looks really cool. So,
but it looks so good.
You win some, you lose some. And compared to the Galaxy S20 line that Samsung also introduced yesterday, it's not as powerful as those phones. But again, those phones are looking a lot like the phones we've had for the last 10 years or so.
Well, yeah, talk a little bit about, so they announced a trio of like the Galaxy
S20, yes.
Models,
so there's three S20s. There's the S20, the S20 Plus, and the S20 Ultra. They all have largely the same underlying specs, the same Snapdragon 865 processor underneath. They all support some form of 5G. The Plus and the Ultra support basically all three flavors of 5G.
Yeah.
Low band, mid band, and millimeter wave. So depending on your carrier, you'll get a full experience. The differences mainly between the S20s are in their screen sizes. Mm-hmm. The S20 is the smallest of the bunch at 6.9 inches. I believe the S20 Ultra is the largest.
Yeah.
And that's already close to, you're talking basically 7 inches there. That's a pretty big phone.
Yeah.
If you don't like big phones, don't look at the Ultra. Even though it has a really fancy camera on the back with an 108 megapixel sensor and 100x zoom that Samsung calls space zoom.
Right, space zoom.
We'll have to see in our testing what that actually means and if that's useful.
Yeah,
but
like is it what of it is like digital zoom? Like how much of it is just making a picture look worse?
Yeah, I think the bulk of it is digital zoom.
Right.
Which is partially, I guess, why they put an 108 megapixel sensor in there. So this way you have that flexibility to really get close to a subject without completely losing all semblance of an image.
Right.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that translates into the real world.
Right.
And if people actually find that useful.
Right.
It's definitely a buzzworthy feature, though.
What about the prices on the three phones? How do they stack up?
So it starts at $1,000 for the S20.
Right.
Or $999. Then $200 more, $1,200 for the S20 Plus, and $1,400 for the Ultra. Those are the base models, depending on how much storage you get. It can go up. I think the highest was $1,600 on the Ultra.
Yeah. So. Well, there was another product that they announced. There were earbuds that came out. Is there anything interesting about those?
Battery life seems to be pretty promising. 11 hours directly on the Galaxy Buds Plus themselves. These are $150 headphones. It's basically Samsung's rival to Amazon's Echo Buds, Apple AirPods, Google's Pixel Buds, Microsoft's Surface Buds, because everybody's got headphones now. It'll have an additional 11 hours of charge in the case that it comes with. Yeah. The case is wireless charging. It also supports fast charging. So Samsung says if you put the buds in the case for 3 minutes, you will get an hour's worth of playback time. Nice. Which is pretty nice. Yeah, yeah. Especially if you're carrying these things around all day. Yeah. Yeah. That's useful.
Exactly. That sounds great. So we want to hear what you have to say about all this stuff. Let's turn to our live video audience to see what all of your takeaways were from Samsung's event Are you all aboard the flip phone renaissance? And what about Space Zoom? Is it a valuable tool or is it a creepy spy device? What about the presentation itself? Was it stunning or snooze fest? I thought that the visuals from it were like kind of bonkers.
Samsung always does a great job as far as going crazy with their stuff. Sometimes they go a little bit too crazy. There have been some Galaxy launches where they brought performers out on stage and it was reaching another level in the wrong way.
It was like military efficiency, but it was like very like bombastic. Anyway, we want to know what you think about it. What's rattling around in your brain? We'll see how long we can take this conversation, drag it out, beat it to death. PVG. Well, what's our first victim?
Oh, it's almost as if it's already dragged out too long as is. I don't know. Call me crazy.
You mean doing a pre-show on Monday and doing a post-show after doing all the coverage yesterday, it's not too much?
You know what? You'd think that by now, since I sat through yesterday's entire live stream and now we're talking about it, I would have absorbed anything. I've absorbed nothing. I've retained nothing. I know nothing.
The crazy part is none of this has changed because all the stuff basically leaked and everything we talked about on Monday.
Yeah. But we know prices.
Confirmed.
I mean, like we know prices,
right, the prices,
which is the big thing.
New.
Yeah.
Yes, the pricing is new and the exact 5G specifics. The S20, for example, will, for the most part, with the exception of Verizon, who's getting a later version in the second quarter, will only have the low band or mid band flavors of 5G. It won't have the really fun high speed millimeter wave, which if you're on the right
5G.
if you're on the right city blocks, can get you speeds over a gigabit a second.
What do our viewers have to say?
First, let's take one from Twitter. Our best buddy Rob Heckman on Twitter. He says, I wonder, this is what's on everybody's mind, of course. I wonder how the Z Flip is going to do in the drop test.
Yeah, the drop test and the...
Yeah, we have our
whatever those are.
We have our foldable test, which
right.
I'm sure, hit the bell. Foldbot will probably be back soon to test out the Z Flip.
Yesterday they said something. They claimed like
200,000
folds.
We'll obviously put that to some form of a test to see. Granted, our use case isn't the same as a hand opening and closing it.
Right.
It's not as forgiving as a hand opening and closing it. It's a little more rigid.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it does give you some idea of what this $1,400 phone, or nearly $1,400 phone, can withstand. As for dropping, we'll see. The glass, it has a much nicer design. It's not made of plastic the same way the Razr is, which is one of the big drawbacks on the Razr, because for $1,500, you'd want something a little bit more premium.
Those premium, the premium metals.
Yeah. You want something like on your iPhone or on your Galaxy or even on your Pixel.
Yeah.
You'd want something that's a higher end device, and you don't have that on the Razr.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see drops. I can't imagine Samsung is saying this thing is as drop proof as something like a Galaxy S Active or their new X Cover Pro, which is like military spec that you could take underwater. I don't think this is water resistance at all.
But they do have the in their hinge, one of the things they tout is that they have these fibers to have a cleaner hinge that also keeps out those sort of the dusts and the particles.
Right. Whereas on the Razr, and I don't know if we can show this here, if you open it up on the side, you could see. I don't know if we can get close enough on this. But the screen actually pops up a little bit.
Yeah.
So we go here, and you can obviously hear it sounds like paper crumpling when you open and close it. On the Z Flip, they have this different hinge that Samsung has refined, because last year they went through all of their issues with the Fold. This is a second generation product for them in a lot of respects.
Yeah.
And they've made these improvements accordingly.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot to improve upon with the Fold.
With the $2,000 Galaxy Fold.
Yeah. But, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how, if all those, all the kinks that they worked out with the Fold, if that really goes to the benefit of the Z Flip.
Yep.
Next up, let's take one from DC417. He says, I'm still concerned, potentially incorrectly, about the long-term durability of flip smartphones. Alex says, I hope no one buys it. However, PJ was into the ad that they showed during the Oscars, and it was a fun commercial, I guess. I don't know.
Boop, boop, deep, zap. Zoop. That was that ad, right? Yeah.
And Joan has given up her career as a journalist to go into impersonations.
I'm gonna become a French chanteuse singer of zippity beep.
There you go. Your scats are great.
Are you on board for the Police Academy reboot?
Zippity doop. That's all I have to say about that.
Never mind. That's
anyways, back I think to the question on durability.
Yeah, the actual question.
Yeah, we still again don't really know how durable these things are going to be. We're going to have to actually use them for some period of time. We obviously got a little bit of hands-on. We have videos up with some hands-on from the, I guess, Unpacked event yesterday at Samsung. But as for dropping, water resistance, opening and closing, all that stuff is going to be something that time will tell on how strong or weak these things are.
All right, next in the queue, let's talk about the speaker. Ryan and Imagine Sagi are both citing that where the heck was the Bixby speaker, and I was kind of surprised by that too, because right before there was a big leak for the Bixby Galaxy Home out there in the wild, and they didn't say a damn thing about it at the event.
Yeah, Galaxy Home is still MIA.
It's a ghost.
It's been MIA for now 2 years. They announced it at a Galaxy. I think the first one was announced at a Note event 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then, it's made pop-ups here and there and nothing. But if you're in Korea and you pre-order it, I think they're throwing it in. So somebody somewhere is making them, and somebody somewhere will at some point be getting them. Whether it's worth getting or using, we have no idea, because Samsung doesn't talk about it, at least for the US. They haven't for a while.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if it comes here. Obviously, Samsung, with their smart things, which is their smart home interface, has a lot of potential. They, unlike Google or Amazon, well, Amazon, I guess, has started making microwaves and clocks and all kinds of things.
Crazy stuff, yeah.
And they have Ring doorbells and everything else. Samsung is actually making appliances.
Yeah.
So that idea of having a home network for your dishwasher, your fridge, it sounds crazy. It also sounds a bit Jetson-y. So you're laughing. Who knows what we'll be doing in 5 years? The opportunity could be there if Samsung wanted to integrate around something like SmartThings.
Yeah.
Galaxy Home and Bixby could be a way. They've talked about using Bixby and digital assistants in some of their smart home appliances before. But again, as for Galaxy Home itself, who knows?
What about the watch? Richard Thomas on Twitter was wondering why we didn't see anything about a watch.
Yeah, that was another one. Watch, tablet, a lot of things Samsung didn't talk about.
Phones and then a little bit of buds. That was just
which is a compliment to your phone.
Yeah.
Since, a lot of these don't have headphone jacks, you need earbuds. So it's a nice little upsell. Don't know why we haven't seen a watch. We haven't seen a new watch from Samsung also in a while. That's a little bit overdue. It's kind of surprising that they've gone so quiet here.
Maybe at Mobile World Congress, when it doesn't happen, they'll have other news to share. Maybe that's what's gonna.
That's possible, but it's weird that they haven't talked about the watch in a while.
Yeah.
And the active watch, the Gear watches are actually pretty good watches if you're looking for a smartwatch for Android, and you want something a little more featured than a Fitbit.
Yeah.
Fitbit's great for tracking fitness. As for apps, it doesn't have the same robust interface or ecosystem that Samsung's watches have. Whether we'll see another one, though, who knows? It's that they've been, again, really quiet.
At some point, they'll have to. Unless they're just going to abandon the space, which I
Google's
doubt.
been just as quiet on Wear forever.
Yeah.
But now they have Fitbit, so we'll see if at I.O. we start to see the first fruits of that acquisition.
Next in the queue, how about one from Gage Milton on Twitter? They ask, if money was no option, which Galaxy phone would you get and why?
I would want to get the Flip.
The Flip is very cool.
It looks very cool.
As someone who likes all the latest specs, I'm kind of pushing towards the Ultra, just because it's just a monster in
huge.
Every respect.
Yeah.
The gaming stuff that they showed off with Microsoft as xCloud, Microsoft's cloud gaming platform around the Xbox, launches later this year. That could be really interesting to have a really super powered phone for. The Flip, though, looks cool.
It looks super cool.
The craziest thing to me, though, and I was talking about this with our colleague Scott Stein yesterday, if you go into a store now, because the Galaxy S10 didn't go away, it actually got a price cut.
Yeah.
And say, I want a Galaxy.
Yeah.
You now have an insane amount of options. You have the Galaxy S10, the S10e, the S10, the S10 Plus,
right,
the S20, the S20 Plus, the S20 Ultra, the Fold, the Flip. You got all of these Galaxies. You got 5G versions. You have the S10 5G. You have the Notes.
Right.
You have 3 different Notes.
Right.
The Note 10 Plus, the Note 10 Plus 5G. You have so many Galaxies to choose from, and all you want to do is just say, I want a Galaxy. Like, if you don't follow this stuff, This is just an overwhelming assortment of options.
Yeah, well, that's actually talking about the Notes that actually, how the Ultra being as big as it is, it's not as big as a Note. Is a Note still bigger, or how does that compare?
No, the Ultra at 6.9 inches, I think, is the biggest phone Samsung
Really? So
has
it's
had
bigger
in a
than the
while.
Note, but the Note has stylus. And
The Note has a stylus.
Right. And,
So-
and the Ultra does not.
The Ultra has the 108 megapixel camera and
Right.
space zoom.
It
So
does
you get-
have space zoom,
You get space
though.
zoom, and compared to the Note, it has a more recent Qualcomm processor.
Right.
It's got the new 865 in there. It's got better 5G support.
Right.
So it's got some benefits over getting the Note. But if you're getting a Note, you like the stylus.
Yeah, exactly. People who buy the Note, they do it because they love that.
And the stylus is really nice on the Note. Mm-hmm. I don't know what Samsung does, though, for the second half. Whereas the S line has usually been the mass market of the Note.
Yeah.
The Note's usually been where Samsung pushes things forward, and they take a lot of changes and risks. Mm-hmm. I don't really know how they top the Ultra. It'll be interesting to see because Qualcomm usually does their processor early in the year. It's the same processor, and now we have basically 12 gigabytes of RAM. You have an insane amount of storage in there, up to 1.5 terabytes, I think.
Well, you need it if you're going to have space zoomy pictures
Right,
and videos.
and 8K video.
8K video.
8K is a thing. Our colleague David Katzenmeyer is doing some stuff on 8K. And
It's a thing.
I think a minute of video I saw somewhere was 600 megabytes.
It's ridiculous.
So one minute of video is 600 megabytes. I guess you will need a
Yeah.
terabyte and a half of storage.
Right.
Well, as opposed to 1 minute of video of this show, which is priceless.
That is true. Thank
Cannot
you,
be
DVG.
quantified at all.
Okay, let's get a few more questions. We got a few minutes left. The next one I want to take is from Timothy, who is asking about the space zoom. He's asking, does space zoom have stabilization?
Oh, good question.
I am not sure. I can poke on Samsung's site. I don't remember if they said it has.
I mean, I don't know if they said it. When they showed it off with that, they had like a couple influencers. They were YouTubers. I can't remember exactly who that they were. They were the ones showing off the space zoom, right? The two buddies. And they had it on a tripod. So when they were showing off just how far in you can zoom, they were doing it with something. They were doing it with physical stabilization. So I imagine there's some sort of digital stabilization also, given that. But I don't know.
At that range, I would bet that there's a pretty tight ceiling on it, though. For that much,
especially if you're going 100x, it can't.
That's really, 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 really,
to be able to offer that would be impressive. I just don't think they can do it, but who knows? We'll have to take this for a test drive on March 6th when it comes out. That's the other thing about these things, with the exception of the Flip, which is surprisingly available in 2 days.
Right.
It's available on Friday at Best Buy, AT&T,
Happy
and
Valentine's
Sprint.
Day!
Yeah, there you go. Get the love in your life a Z Flip for $1,400. Comes in black or purple.
It's
so
better than roses. Way better. Does it come in purple?
It comes in purple.
Because I don't remember them saying that. I remember them mentioning mirror, black mirror, gold mirror.
I think I'm pretty sure there's a purple option and a black option in
yeah.
the US. A gold option's available in some countries. I don't think it's available in the US at launch.
Yeah.
Motorola's bringing a gold version of the Razr, so I would imagine that at some point Samsung will bring the Z Flip here in gold. If you really want a gold flip phone in 2020.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah, these phones, the Z Flip comes out on Friday. The other ones don't go on pre-order until next week, the 21st,
and then
aren't available until March 6th. So we have some time before these things come out. Whereas in the past, sometimes these things have been available, a week or two later. Here you have a little bit of a wait.
Yeah.
Ryan says, I've had the S9 Plus for a year and a half, was hoping to upgrade this year, but with these S20 prices, there's no point. With the S8 to S10 lines being very good quality phones and still cost effective, do you think that that's going to hurt sales of some of these new models?
Well, when it comes to financing all these phones, it's really a funny math type of area. So whereas these things are starting at $1,000, if you have an S9 and it's in decent condition, you could probably get a few $100s back from either Samsung or your carrier to do a trade-in, or from a retailer like Best Buy or Target or Walmart to do a trade-in, and that all of a sudden, again, will knock off anywhere between $200 and maybe sometimes $400 off. Mm-hmm. Especially when these things launch, they get pretty aggressive with their promotions because they want you to go and upgrade and to, I guess, buy back in to what they're selling.
Yeah.
In this case, the Samsung ecosystem and phones keep you away from Apple and Google and everyone else, OnePlus. So is the S10 better or better for you? That's a personal thing. if you're not intrigued by the 5G or from the updated cameras or the slightly better processor in the 865 compared to the 855 that was on last year, then yeah, the S10 at $200, I think they chopped the price by $200 across the board yesterday. It could be the better choice there.
Ben the One is wondering why they skipped S11 and any other numbers and jumped all the way to 20 all of a sudden.
Because it's 2020.
It's 2020.
Yeah.
2020, so many 20s.
And I saw a couple of people talking about this online. It really, if you look at it, S10 to S20, the jumps for the most part aren't that big.
Yeah.
Processor's better.
Yeah.
The camera's better. Screen's better. It's a 120 hertz display, which will be much smoother for scrolling, and it's about time Samsung did that. Otherwise, a lot of the big things, the design is largely the same. The cutout for the camera is now in the middle instead of in the corner, but it's largely the same type of display. The design on the back is largely the same, just now you have more cameras, because why not?
Because it's 2020.
And it's otherwise largely not a significant... an S11, I don't think, would have given it a significant enough designation for what Samsung's trying to say, which is we've done a lot of really crazy things here. We made a big jump as far as camera and performance goes, and we want to highlight that plus, 2020.
I will appreciate if going forward, if we don't have any more jumps, it will be nice to be able to refer to the model of the phone just by knowing what year it came out. Like, you know what I mean? It'll just be simpler that way. Like if this one came out in 2020, next, the next model, if it's the S21, then that's the one that came out in 21. I don't know. It's
right.
Simplifies it, and I'll appreciate that.
It does, especially in a world where there are rumors that Apple's iPhone SE2 is going to be called the iPhone 9.
What?
And that's just going to throw everyone who's looking for an iPhone in for another loop, because you go from 10, 10R, 10S, 11 Pro.
Will
Max,
they make it 9 like IX?
I hope not, because that would just be super frustrating.
Will they go to the Roman numerals?
I hope they don't do that with the Roman numerals, but that's just a rumor. We'll obviously have to see what Apple does with that.
They're just going to start counting back down until they get back, and at the 20th anniversary, it will be the iPhone 1, like the Xbox One.
Right.
Mark my words.
There we go.
The iPhone.
I'm putting $50 on right now.
Only 7 more years until we get there.
With these flip phones coming out, Timothy on YouTube is wondering if the Z Phone is more of just a fashion accessory. How practical is it really? Is the Razr really just nostalgia appeal? I do admit both phones are breaking the typical fold mold, and that's fold mold, and that's nice. Wow, that was fun to say. But are there any value to it, or is it all just gimmick?
I don't think so. So what do you think?
It's changing up the game a little bit. Phones, as we were just talking about, have largely been the same since the iPhone in 2007. You no longer see phones with keyboards. You no longer see phones that slide or do anything fancy. They're all just rectangular slabs. So trying to create something new and interesting and different, there's some value there, and that's one of the reasons I think they're pursuing this category. Not to mention it opens up a whole host of different ways to inspire people to want to look at their phone differently. And as far as the fashion side of things, they partnered up with, I believe it's Thom Browne, a fashion house, and they're doing something for Fashion Week, which is in New York right now, to show off the Z Flip. They're creating a special custom edition of it.
Yeah.
So they very much view this as a fashion accessory. The fact that they advertised during the Oscars was not a mistake.
Yeah.
They're very much targeting a particular demographic and crowd with this. It's for a first generation product at $1,400. They want it to be a statement. If you're, in a bar with your buddies and you take out another phone that looks like everything else, no one cares. If you take this out, you're taking this out knowing that someone's going to go, ooh, what is that? They're very much aware of that. They're cognizant of that fact. And as far as changing things up and making things different, I'm okay with that. After covering phones for the last decade and seeing them all largely be the same iterative upgrades, seeing someone trying to do something new and different, whether it's Razr, whether it's the Galaxy Fold, whether it's the Huawei Mate 10, or any of these other foldable phones, why not? Innovation spurs things forward.
The only specs I ever care about are battery and durability, and if they can find a way to make these things fold up and actually be little protected powerhouses, I'm interested. I wouldn't mind having something smaller in my pocket as long as it will survive the journey. So I want to see where this goes. I can't wait till we do more fold tests and drop tests. because I really wouldn't mind having something more compact. Because honestly, like, we carry around too much crap in our pockets all day anyway, and I wouldn't mind that. That's just me. Any expandable storage options with these phones?
Good question.
The Galaxy S20s have micro SD card support, so if you want to bump up the storage later on, you can. I don't believe the Z Flip has a micro SD card slot. I may be mistaken, but I don't remember seeing yesterday if it does.
Yeah.
I know it has a physical SIM card slot, whereas the Razr's using a virtual SIM card, an eSIM, for Verizon. But I don't know if it has an SD card slot as well.
Here's a really good one about the glass from DC417 on YouTube. I have a question about the glass. Is the crease still glass? Or is that small part of the screen a section of plastic? Or is it somehow bendable glass throughout? What's the build quality there?
It's apparently bendable glass throughout. And
single piece.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy that Samsung in a year, from where they were with the Fold, the Galaxy Fold, to the Z Flip, to go from something that's all plastic to glass that bends is kind of insane. Yeah. Especially something that's rated, according to them, for 200,000 bends. When was the last time anyone bent something 200,000 times and didn't break? To do that with glass seems scary.
0 times before it broke, personally.
Right, same. So it's a crazy step forward as far as the manufacturing process of everything. And as far as durability, it's supposed to be a lot better. It's supposed to be a lot more traditional experience. And judging by all the videos that are out of people using it, it is a nicer experience, though you can notice the crease when you have it. Whether or not that goes away, you get used to it. We'll have to see. That's something that we'll only know with time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fully one pane of bendable glass.
It'd be really nice to get a sort of time lapse of long-term usage of like over a period of a year or so with a phone, just to see what natural wear and tear does to that crease and how much more prevalent it could become. I hope that, wait, I'm going to take that back. I don't want to pitch that because they're going to make me do that video.
I was about to say, Brian, that sounds like a really great story.
No, not it. I don't want to do it. I just want to see the results.
Crap. Eli has to do it.
I guess it's on me to use the foldable phone for a year.
Oh, wait. Damn.
Then you got to take take a picture of the screen every day for the remainder of your life.
Be like one of those like Instagram videos, like
lifelong commitment.
Yeah,
exactly. Right, yeah, right.
Or like a Richard Linklater project. Last couple of questions. Storm King wonders if the next Note will be the Fold 2 with a stylus.
That's a good question. That's possible that they can use the Flip for like the S line and the Fold for the Note line. That seems like an interesting setup, especially with the Note coming out as late as it did last year. The Fold, coming out as late as it did last year. It could sync up with that if they decide to do a Galaxy Fold 2. Mm-hmm. And obviously the screen size of the Fold becoming a phone to a tablet. The Note obviously was a phablet. Mm-hmm. And that's what it started that whole giant phone craze. So it logically pairs up. As for whether Samsung will do that, don't know. But logically, it checks out.
And last but not least, Yan and Timothy and Ryan are all talking Apple. How long until Apple jumps on this bandwagon and claims that they invented the flip phone?
That is a great question.
It doesn't matter how long. They definitely will claim that they invented it or revolutionized it. Like, there's never been a flip like the Apple flip.
I don't think they'll claim they invented it, but I think yes, that type of...
It'll be more magical, for sure.
We did a magical thing with flip phones is something that it's very in Apple's wheelhouse to say.
Yeah. They had the courage to magically
revolutionize.
Courage
gross. Is the big word there. You need to have courage to do that.
Only Apple kind of courage.
Exactly. As for when Apple might, there are some rumors of 2021, 2022. The big thing that's been rumored about these iPhones later this year, should Apple come out with new iPhones, has been 5G.
Yeah.
And them supporting 5G and augmented reality and new camera sensors. Again, we'll have to wait until probably the fall to see what Apple's big iPhone upgrades are. Mm-hmm. But 5G seems to be their focus this year, according to all the rumors. And
Roger must be thrilled.
What was that?
Roger must be thrilled.
Oh, yeah. 5G everywhere.
Okay, we're out of time. Great conversation today, everybody. I want to issue a challenge since we're dealing with the flip and fold lines, the flip and fold sounds like a terrible dance craze from the 1950s.
The flip and fold.
So let's go ahead and see your Twitter submissions. Make a video of yourself inventing the flip and fold dance. It's got to be something like the Charleston. It just sounds like it's from that wheelhouse. This is a stupid idea, but I'm full of those. So go ahead and
pitch TikTok. That's a perfect TikTok idea.
Oh my God, you're right, and I hate myself for it. Last little bit of business before we wrap up today. Just trivia time. It is Chuck Darwin Day. Happy birthday, Charles Darwin. February 12th is Charles Darwin Day, birthday of the naturalist and geologist, celebrated around the world with discussions on Darwin's works, food, and explorations, and his theories. So go ahead and find your intellectual friends and hopefully come up with a better conversation than talking about mundane camera features on redundant phones. Sorry, I'm in a negative mood today. But thanks, everybody, for joining us. We'll be back again tomorrow. Joan, go ahead and send us home.
Yeah, if you want, we would love if you would subscribe and ring the bell to join us weekday mornings and be part of the daily news cycle here at CNET. Links to all of today's stories are, as always, in the description below. And the show is also available as an audio podcast. Links to subscribe to that are in the description as well. For the Daily Charge, I'm Joni Salzman.
I'm Eli Blumenthal.
Thanks for joining us.